to share it, is the whole purpose that I'm here. That we are here on this earth. We're here to learn a lesson. It's the ability for me to be able to receive love and the ability to give love. That's all it is. And I learned this lesson as I encounter people, as I've been through divorces, as I've been through years of addiction to alcohol and drugs. All of these were teaching experiences for me along my path, and I learned deeply about myself, how I reacted to people, how I reacted to situations, what came out of me, how I responded. I learned about me through all these situations. None of them were negative. This was all positive things. And in the process of learning these things, I was able to open myself up to receive healing, to open myself up to receive love from the Spirit. And then, in the process, I'm also able to start to learn to share and to give of myself to people. And that's why I'm here on this earth.
And this is particularly critical when you're dealing with people who feel very unlovable at that time in their lives.
Right. And when working with these women, I'll give you an example. A couple of weeks ago, I have the women, the new women that come in, I teach them Native American crafts. The whole class, I usually work with 15 or 20 women at a time. And I have them learning Native American crafts. I teach them to make artifacts with their hands, dream catchers, different things. And I teach them about spiritual symbolism, the use of healing for these things, and how they can apply it to their own lives and their recovery from addiction. And put their own hopes into that, into their projects, their own colors, once again, their own uniqueness right into what they're creating with their hands, just like beadwork or anything else. But these women are from all different races. So they're creating these things. And during these classes, I will take 3 women that are new, and I will create a mask of their face, a plaster mask of their face. And I will ask them, whoever wants to volunteer, will be able to lay down, to be vulnerable, to trust me, to close their eyes, and to allow me to make a mask of their face. For women from addictions, from a history of addiction, you will not usually find yourself laying down on your back, vulnerable, with your eyes closed in a situation when you're around addicts and around dangerous situations that you don't know what's going to happen to you. And many times things happen invariably in our addictions. And I tell them also, this is going to be a healing process because I'm going to be a man. You're going to be allowing a man, me, to touch your face in an appropriate way. It's going to feel good to you. It's going to be something that it's going to bring up experiences and sensations for you. But you're going to learn that there is an appropriate way, and in a new life and a new path, free from addiction, that you're going to be able to experience good things. You're going to be able to be touched in an appropriate way, and nothing destructive is going to result in it.
What have you seen by way of experience?
Okay, I ask them to write. What I do is I'm touching their face, and I'm speaking to them as I'm doing this. In my own life, when I was a little boy, my mother used to take Vaseline and put Vaseline on my face because I had dry skin. That was one of the most memorable, pleasurable experiences I remember as a child. Okay? That stuck with me. These things that happen to us as children are foundational. These imprints on us that we experience as children are sent to us for a reason. Because that's one of the things that helped me. Now I'm able to touch these women and know that it's going to feel good for them, that it's going to be comforting, but it's also going to be bringing up things to the surface that want to be healed, okay? And I have them write a page immediately after I'm done making the mask. They go wash up, and I have them write a page about what they experienced, what they were feeling as the mask was being made. And this last time I was there, I had 3 women. 2 of the women came back, and they immediately gave me a page, and they wrote what they felt and what they experienced as the mask was being made. The 3rd person did not bring back a piece of paper. And so later on, when the class was over, I asked her how her experience was. And she said that it was very difficult for her. And yet she did volunteer to do it. It was very difficult for her, and that 3 months ago, just 3 months ago, that she was kidnapped at gunpoint. She was tied up, duct tape was put over her mouth, and it brought up those memories for her. And so it was something very close to her, something that had just recently happened, something that was dangerous, something that was harmful, something that was unpleasant, an unpleasant experience for her, but she was willing to become open. Her act of being willing to experience something that would be close to something that was very hurtful for her, and to relive that, to be open to the Spirit and to receive love and healing, that was a major step of courage for her.
That's a catalyst to change right there.
That's a major step.
Yes.
And whenever we do that, and we'll face the dark places and the places that we want to avoid, and learn to embrace those things, then we will receive healing.
Let's talk about some of the other work you do as well, because you also bring music and drumming and such into your work. And this is something, it's not just sort of a primal instinctive thing. There is something that happens within our being, within our entire mind, not just the gray matter, with drumming. Specifically with drumming, it has a quality of opening us into much deeper levels of ourselves. Can you talk about your experience in using ceremony and drumming in some of the healing work you're doing as well? And some of the experiences people have reported back to you?
In my work, I use the 3 ancient forms of expression. In indigenous cultures, Native American cultures, the oldest forms of expression are the voice, the drum, and the flute.
Yes.
You'll find those in Africa, Asia, all across the country, India,
South America,
Middle East, South America, Native American.
Yeah.
Those were the primary ways that we would express what was going on in our soul, what we wanted to see, what we're hoping for, what we were praying for, and also these were the tools that we used to enter into the spiritual realm that connected us with the Spirit. The drum is what I use when I do private Native American healing meditation sessions. I do that at some of the different resorts, and also I do that one-to-one with people. And it's very much of a spiritual offering. And what I do is I use that drum, and I use the heartbeat of the drum, and I make my own drums. I stretch my own skins. I make them on a full moon, and I use specific animals to have their voice come out of those drums. But I use the heartbeat, and the heartbeat goes back to our very beginning. It is the very first encounter that we have on this plane. Within the womb, that is what surrounded us. That's the vibration. That's what nourished us. That's what flowed through us. That's what we heard. That's what we felt. That was our place of beginning. That was the familiar, comforting, reassuring place for us. And so when I use that heartbeat, I take people back to that place. In a spiritual way, once again, we have access to every realm. With the heartbeat of the drum, I take people back to the very beginning, to the place that is very familiar to them, to a place that is comforting, to their foundation, to the reference point. The heartbeat takes us back to the womb, and that is a place where it is simple, and all of the things that we've experienced, that we have complicated our life with, that have detracted from us, that have taken our energy away, the relationships, the encounters, all of those things did not happen back then. When we were in the womb, floating around freely as a seed of life, we were content, we were at peace, we were nourished, we felt safe, and all of the DNA and all of the blueprint for our entire life, the plan for our true destiny, was right contained inside of that little seed of life. It's always been there.
It's almost like